That's the ceiling lights in the house. Just go back
David back there?
Yep.
My gas back.
Kind of chilly. Well, that was kind of over the last one. I'm not sure. It's too cold for them to come. That bus comes every month.
No. Presentation at the agenda was on the time.
We had the same story for like 2 years. Every month. No, it's definitely not.
I found this lightning to VGA. Is this yours? A couple of days ago, I found it. Okay, so let's go ahead and...
Joyce, are you ready to begin?
Yes, good evening. Chair Gutierrez Gacchetti will now call the board meeting to order.
I hereby call to order the Board of Directors' regular scheduled meetings of New Jersey Transit Corporation, New Jersey Transit Rail Operations, Inc., New Jersey Transit Bus Operations, Inc., New Jersey Transit Mercer, Inc., and New Jersey Transit Morris, Inc.
At this time, Safety Officer Bill Feeney will deliver the public safety announcement.
Good evening. At New Jersey Transit, your safety is our highest priority. Please listen to these safety instructions in case of an emergency. An emergency announcements will be made over the loudspeaker. The primary exit for this location is the stairwell located in the lobby adjacent to the elevators. There's a second staircase through the door. There is a defibrillator and a first aid kit located near the elevator. Fire extinguishers are located in the front and back of this room. Thank you, and have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Could we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, board members. Good evening, board members. I will now take roll call. For the record, Chair Gutierrez Gacchetti and Board Member Greaves are participating by telephone. Chair Gutierrez Gacchetti,
Here.
Board Member Wilton. Here. Board Member Ajmani. Here. Board Member Greaves.
Here.
Thank you. Next is the open public meetings notice. Adequate notice of today's regularly scheduled meetings of the Board of Directors of the New Jersey Transit Corporation, New Jersey Transit Rail Operations, New Jersey Transit Bus Operations, New Jersey Transit Mercer, and New Jersey Transit Morris has been provided in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act and Public Law 2018, Chapter 162. The meetings will occur concurrently. Notices were filed on November 7, 2019 with the Secretary of State. These notices were sent to newspapers of general distribution, posted in the main entrance of New Jersey Transit headquarters, published on the corporation's website, and sent to each individual, agency, and organization that requested such notice. The meetings are viewable on the corporation's website in real time and will be video recorded, archived, and made available to the public. Minutes will also be archived and published on the website. Thank you.
Thank you, Joyce. May I have a motion to enter into executive session to discuss personnel matters, contracts, collective bargaining negotiations, the status of pending and anticipated litigation, and matters falling within the attorney-client privilege, including but not limited to the proposed labor agreement, Police Benevolent Association Local 304, and the proposed labor agreement, Communications Workers of America. May I have a motion to enter into executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll excuse ourselves to executive session. Thank you.
Chair Gutierrez-Cachetti, are you on the line? Okay, we'll wait just a few minutes until she calls in. Good evening. Chair Gutierrez-Cachetti will now reconvene open session.
Hold on.
Okay.
Yep. I hereby reconvene the open session board meetings. Joyce, please take roll call.
Roll call. Chair Gutierrez-Cachetti? Board Member Wilton? Board Member Ajmani? Board Member Greaves?
Here.
Thank you.
May I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the October 16th board meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Please present your monthly report.
Chair Gutierrez-Cachetti, can you hear us?
Joyce, can you hear me?
Yes, now we can hear you. Next, the President and CEO's monthly report.
Thank you. Good evening, Chair and members of the board, and good evening to all the members of the public who have shown tonight. I'd like to begin with some encouraging news to share about update on our services. On the rail side, I'd like to give some update that our train cancellations are down 35% in the first 10 months of this year compared to last year. Cancellations this past month of October were down 41% from October 2018. While we certainly have a way to go, this is certainly very much trending in the right direction. On-time performance increased also nearly 3 percentage points from October 2018 to October 29 to more than 91% on time. On the bus side on our operations, we've graduated, as you know, more than 600 new bus operators since January 2018. Before hiring these new operators, New Jersey Transit was averaging about 40 missed bus trips per day. Today, that number is less than 10 on average on most days, out of more than 10,000 total bus trips provided each day. Also, from April 2019 to December 2019, these new hires have allowed us to add 80 new bus trips to the weekday schedule, 86 new bus trips to the Saturday schedule, and 166 new bus trips to the Sunday schedule. That's an average of more than 90 new trips, additional trips per day. Fewer delays and more service means less crowding and a vastly better experience for our bus customers. As I said, to be clear, we know there's still much work to be done before all our customers feel the improved experience, but we feel this is trending in the right direction, and we are not going to let up until we improve reliability and eliminate preventable disruptions. The numbers are always subject to fluctuation on any given day, much like the stock market, but we do obviously expect fluctuations to diminish as we get closer to a full roster of engineers. The main thing, as I say, is to note that the trend overall continues in the right direction. And to keep those numbers moving in the right direction, 3 classes of locomotive engineers will be graduating over the next 3 months. 1 this month, 1 in December, and 1 in January. Beginning in 2020 and beyond, we'll start to see real net gains in our rank of locomotive engineers. On the technology side, regarding our mobile app, we also remain focused on leveraging the technology to improve our customers' experience. To that end, we've launched a complete redesign and upgrade version of our mobile app. This updated app, released last month for Apple and later coming this month for Android, has all the features our customers have come to rely on with a cleaner, simpler, and more modern interface and design. Nearly 80,000 customers have installed this update so far, and which includes the refreshed home screen, a new look for departure vision in My Bus, and includes performance enhancements that will allow us to take full advantage of the device it's running on, including fingerprint and Face ID. The update was designed and developed entirely in-house, which is much more cost-effective and quicker than approaching through outsourcing. And after more than 1,500 reviews, the app's rating is holding steady at an impressive 4.5 out of 5 stars, with a tremendous amount of positive feedback about the latest updates. On the news front, certainly a number of us were at the North Brunswick train station. Pleased to report along on our capital projects advancing. We were on October 30th, Diane and I were with Governor Murphy announcing MOU between New Jersey Transit and the Middlesex County Improvement Authority, which is on this evening's agenda, to build a new train station in North Brunswick along the northeast corridor. The MCIA will serve as a project manager for the station's design and construction. Projects like this are critically important to our system and our region. Unlike national commuter trends, New Jersey Transit is seeing an increase in rail ridership of about 3% year over year, and this station will be on the northeast quarter line, one of our busiest in the system. The project also demonstrates New Jersey Transit is open to look at different approaches on capital projects. Overall, New Jersey Transit is investing more than $1 billion in Middlesex County infrastructure alone. In addition to the North Brunswick station, this includes the new Raritan River Bridge, the county yard and Delco lead storage facility, and inspection facility, and a major renovation at our Perth Amboy station. These investments will do far more than improve services for our customers. They will also create jobs and spur economic growth throughout New Jersey. One of the other things that was very exciting in the last few weeks, New Jersey Transit had the Innovation Challenge. We are always looking at innovative ways to engage external partners in the public and private sector to partner on new projects. On November 7th, New Jersey Transit hosted an industry day for our new Innovation Challenge. Through this challenge, New Jersey Transit is exploring the possibility of a public-private partnership to significantly increase capacity between Secaucus, MetLife Stadium, and American Dream. We hosted breakout sessions and networking opportunities where industry leaders from more than 50 private sector firms and academic institutions engaged with senior New Jersey Transit staff and representatives from other major organizations. In the coming weeks, we'll release a request for expression of interest to receive and evaluate proposals from the best and the brightest in the industry. Once again, I'd like to thank Diane for leading this critically important and visionary initiative. It is clearly the way we have to look at behind the conventional. There's more needs than we are going to be able to meet through our traditional financing, and this was a really exciting and positive response. Speaking of American Dream, I am pleased to report that transit to and from the complex went off without a hitch for the limited opening on October 25th and has been running smoothly ever since. As new amenities open in the coming months, we'll closely monitor service to ensure that it remains commensurate with demand. On a different note, when we talk about security, that comes from practice. And we, as always, remain focused on the safety and security of our system for our customers. And on November 2nd, the New Jersey Transit Police Department joined local, county, state, and federal partners to conduct an emergency response drill at our Glen Rock Main Line train station. Attorney General Gerber Grewal was on hand to observe this large-scale drill, which is about 4 hours long, included more than 150 volunteers. It received wide praise from from all our partners on that effort. Finally, in honor of Veterans Day, I'd like to take a moment to pay tribute to all the members of our armed forces, those who served in the past, those who are serving now, and those who made the ultimate sacrifice defending our freedom. I'd like to ask anyone in attendance today who has honorably served or serves our country to please stand. To all of you standing here today, we all owe you a tremendous debt of gratitude. Thank you for your service. As we reflect on the service of these brave men and women, let's also reconfirm our commitment to do everything we can, in words and deeds, to recognize the contributions and sacrifices of American veterans, including particularly the large number that we are very proud of, who are employees of New Jersey Transit. With that, Chair, that concludes my remarks.
Joyce, are there any comments from the public?
Yes, we have 4 individual speakers and a group of 10 speakers on behalf of Russell Grotti. Speakers, in order to give everyone an opportunity to be heard, comments will be limited to 5 minutes. If there are several people speaking on the same topic, 2 speakers will have 5 minutes to provide comments, and all other speakers will have 2 minutes to provide comments. The first speaker is Chris Hartman.
Thank you very much, and good evening. I'd like to echo Kevin Corbett, too. Thank you to the veterans in the room. Really appreciate your service. Thank you very much. For the record, my name is Christian Hartman. I'm Vice President of the New Jersey Alliance for Action, and members of the Alliance for Action include thousands of New Jersey's top corporate, labor, professional, academic, and government representatives. The Alliance's nonpartisan mission is to improve New Jersey's economy through the promotion of responsible infrastructure development. We've been studying the transit grid project for some time. That's why we're here tonight. And we wanted to go on record, say that the New Jersey Alliance for Action strongly supports the approval of the NJ Transit Grid project. This program will provide highly reliable electric power to support service in one of the most important segments of transit service territory. It will also provide redundancy to the system, allowing residents to travel to work, to school, and other essential locations that would otherwise be inaccessible during a commercial power outage. It would minimize disruptions to the regional workforce, would give us another mode of transportation during an emergency, and also provide a cleaner and more efficient source of power. Our rail service is really important. Everybody in this room, everyone at the table here knows that. It transports people, everyone in and out of New York City, all across various residential and commercial areas of the state, and it's a crucial piece to our overall economy. It also, unfortunately, is vulnerable to commercial grid power outages, which are occurring more frequently due to both our existing power distribution system and the increasing intensity and frequency of severe weather events. All of us in this room have been affected by Hurricane Sandy and the recent storms that happened. For NJ Transit, this storm caused widespread and prolonged power outages that severely affected rail service. The impact on the economy in many ways is impossible to measure. Also important to our local economy, we believe that this project will provide over 200 construction jobs and about 30 permanent jobs, which is good for the economy. It would transform a brownfield that has been sitting vacant for 40 years. NJ Transit will also be restoring an area of the Meadowlands wetlands. I live in that area. I think that's a good thing. A multi-acre solar facility will also be built along with the plant, and the main facility would utilize a variety of technologies to generate and store power. So once more, the Alliance for Action would like to go on record, say this is a good thing for the state. Creating a microgrid like this is something that's unique in transportation, at least in the United States. I live in that area and I support it. We stand ready to assist in any way that we possibly can. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight.
Thank you. The next speaker is Raphael Wakefield.
Sorry, stand there.
Yes, please.
Okay. Hello, my name is Raphael Wakefield. I live in Jersey City, New Jersey. It's my first board meeting, so excuse my lack of preparation, but I was inspired to come here because yesterday, former Senator, I believe, Wisniewski wrote an op-ed in the Star Ledger, which I assume you all read, calling for a return to full funding, essentially, for New Jersey Transit and, what's called the pre-Christie era. And I realize it's not in your wheelhouse, per se, but I have an issue with that, which is that era was a very good one to run, as the president said, and a very professional commuter operation. It was good at getting people to job centers and back. And hopefully the railroad will return to that, and I don't intend to talk about the railroad system today because I know you have a lot on your plate as it is. But the buses and at least Hudson Bergen Light Rail have, in my opinion, things that could be fixed right now at low or no cost that really demand attention. To the president's point also about the issue of the app, I'll tell you, the app is good. I use the app. It's surprisingly good. But I think a lot of people don't know that. They'll never find out about the app because they're not regular transit riders. And I think the app still doesn't work for HBLR. I could be wrong about that. But my point is, it's not so much a matter of technology as it is about the basics. The fare structure is very confusing. It's incompatible with PATH. It's incompatible with New York City Transit. And I think these are much bigger issues than is widely understood in the New Jersey Transit executive chambers. For example, if you get off at Newark Airport and you arrive, and you want to take a New Jersey Transit bus, how are you going to do it? I can tell you, as someone who's a lot of visitors, it's, if you don't know about the app, you're SOL. The other thing is, getting to my earlier point about it being having been a very good commuter system in the past, it was that, it can still be that, but the urban buses leave a lot to be desired. There are too many stops. We're way out of context of the rest of the world. We have 3 times as many stops in some cases on our critical urban bus routes like the 62 in Newark. You're stopping every block or almost. It's ridiculous. Related to that, a local complaint in Jersey City specifically, they've cutting a new road on Jersey Avenue, which essentially is would be a shortcut between downtown and Liberty State Park. I asked a council member about it. We already have a light rail at Liberty State Park. What's the deal with that? Every time I ride it, there's a stoplight. Rather, the train hits stoplights on grade crossings. He told me, I'm assuming this is true, that it's actually New Jersey Transit's power to adjust those traffic lights for traffic signal priority for trains, and not within the city's power at all. So I'm kind of gobsmacked that hasn't happened yet, especially considering that ridership's been stagnant on HBLR according to your own statistics for the last 3 years. And also, I appreciate looking forward, and as I said, I realize you got a lot on your plate. I'm not one of these people just criticizing everything New Jersey Transit does, but I gotta say, focus on the basics. There are signs in these, getting back to how do you get new ridership, there are forget the kiosks and electronic displays, there are maps that are faded from years of sun exposure. And if you're just a guy trying to ride the train for the first time, you're not going to have a great time figuring it out. Even though the map was very nicely designed, it just needs a replacement. So I hope you'll consider these things. I find as a rider traveling all over the world, it's often the little things that matter more than technology or big initiatives. So thank you very much.
Thank you. The next speaker is Carrie Heller.
Hi, Carrie Heller. I am a tenant of New Jersey Transit. I master lease for the last 25 years the stores at the South Orange train station. Rather successfully exercised the lease with New Jersey Transit with the real estate department some 25 years ago. We've done very well. I think New Jersey Transit's done well, and South Orange we've done well. For some time through the real estate department, I have a lease that's coming due in 5 years. Fine, no issues, no qualms. I'm paying too little money to New Jersey Transit. I've expressed that to the real estate department over the last number of years. Particularly, I think in 2016, I may be off by a year when I think the $60 million budget deficit was announced. So I have tried to explain to the real estate department, and we've had some mixed results over the years. from different ways that they run the property as to how we run the stores that are under the railroad tracks, for those who are not aware, we're underneath. I've suggested to them to either tear up the lease, to extend the lease, to buy me out. We could pay more money. We could pay it up front. In particular, that 1 year, we offered to give some hundreds of thousands of dollars or more, depending upon a lease extension. So I'm here today to say that I think you are not monetizing many of your assets. I'm familiar with some others as well, more specifically my own. But I'm here to say that the board, please speak to your real estate department. Something should be done. If they don't wish to extend my lease, New Jersey Transit should be looking to end my lease and to present value whatever payments we're making or what money we're not going to make over the next 5 years, and to have us move on. Because if I'm paying New Jersey Transit $100,000 a year, but if my lease were to end today, perhaps somebody might pay $250,000 a year. So we're looking for New Jersey Transit in all aspects. Similar to the gentleman, I wasn't very familiar with the items that he was specifically mentioning earlier, but New Jersey Transit is much busier at your train stations. We're very busy in South Orange. I think arguably for suburbia, we may be the busiest train station right now. And the more users, the doorknobs, cleaning, we are the home in South Orange for West Orange and Livingston and other shuttles. We're enormously busy. And I'm going to add one other thing to it. The New Jersey Transit does own the parking lot, as I'm sure you're aware, behind. Things are in the works to make that perhaps something else. 20 plus years ago, I was involved trying to get New Jersey Transit not to buy that piece of land, which was an old former lumber yard and coal yard. But there are other opportunities immediately on the other side of me. I'm on Sloan Street. Then there's the access under the railroad tracks into the Performing Arts Center. To the left, there's a couple more archways. I've had an architect do drawings. I gave them to the mayor of South Orange, who has no direct control, but to, again, there's more opportunity to connect to a train station, which is some 1,200 feet away, inside your parameters that the town built for more parking for the downtown. The closer your train gets to the parking, how it gets closer is by creating more walkability, more retail. So there's an opportunity for more retail in front of the fountain and to do more things down in that area. South Orange is just one small space, and I won't keep you. I happened to be anticipating the Midtown Direct back in the early 90s. Participated, I would say, with some when it was going to be called at that time Secaucus Transfer. And it became named Midtown Direct. Secaucus Transfer really didn't tell where it was going. But starting in the early 90s, I'm at the Berkeley Heights train station, Maplewood, Milburn, South Orange, Bloomfield. I have 3 buildings by train stations in Montclair. I followed you. All right? My father was on the wrong side of the tracks in Jersey City and all sorts of places back many, many years ago. My uncle, Gene Heller, built this building. I helped participate. I didn't work for the family at that time. So I have a long history. I'm looking to both help, contribute, participate, monetize, and ask New Jersey Transit and the real estate department. We don't get along. That's from a number of years of just being on top of each other. So I thank you for listening to me today.
Thank you. The next speaker is Steve Thorpe.
Good evening, Chairman Gacchetti, members of the board, staff of New Jersey Transit, Kevin. It's good to be here. I wasn't able to be here last month. I had a funeral for my baby sister out in Wisconsin, baby cousin out in Wisconsin, so I couldn't be here. But the thing I really wanted to talk about last month just got postponed a month. I had occasion to ride the River Line, as you may be aware or not. I'm a member of the Scatter Tap, and we have our meetings all over the place. And when we have our meetings down in Camden, down at the DERPA building, we take the light rail, a lot of us, down from Trenton. And the light rail has gotten really bad in the terms of passenger deportment and the threat that I feel to my safety when I ride it. I was hoping to see Chief Trissillo here tonight to mention it to him. The court reporter who takes the minutes at our meetings told me she stopped commuting on that to Philadelphia because she feared for her life. She's seen people selling drugs over seats and everything. And I know the fare inspectors are on there. In fact, the day I rode, there was a fare inspector checking whether you had a ticket or not. But you really need to have undercover police officers on even a few of those trains, because what will happen is a few people get arrested, the word will get to street, and it'll stop. It's terrible. You can't ride the train. I hate taking my wife on there because I realize that's an urban area and there's street language and everything, but it's really bad. I mean, it's bad if you hear people talking to each other using foul language, but then they're playing it on radios. And a lot of this so-called music is not music. It's nothing more than profanity. So I'm really concerned about it because I've ridden the Hudson Bergen. The Hudson Bergen isn't so bad even late at night. I mean, it's not a perfect world. It's still, and when the quiet cars, which ties into this, it's not always enforced by the crews. You get some crews who are excellent about enforcing Q cars. They'll say, please no cell phone use, no whatever, and they'll go through the rules almost every few stops, and there's others that could care less. They'll walk right past somebody, and I realize they're not charged with enforcing this, but then it's left on us. And Bob Laval, before he left, used to supply me with a voluminous stack of quiet car cards that I gave out. And, as a member of the public, I have no authority to do anything except tell everybody what the rules are. And if some are decent about it, and others are just up in your face about it. So the quiet car is an oasis for people that don't want the noise, particularly sporting events. It's insane sometimes what it's like on these trains. I don't know how many people ride them, but the River Line is the worst. I mean, if we could do something to get some police there to ride some of those trains, not with uniforms on, but undercover, because everybody behaves when they see a uniformed officer. But put people on those trains so that they can see what's going on and get a feel for it. I don't know what the police presence there is. That's why I'm saying I was hoping I could talk to Chief Trusillo off record. But that's my main concern about it. So I may have some other stuff, but that was the key point. I also want to mention my friend Mr. Grotti and his people. I see so many of them here tonight. It's time that we really get serious about talking with him, because this is going on for 2 years. It's cold tonight. It's not that nobody wants to be here, really. I mean, I came because I have a vested interest in the things I mentioned. But these folks have been coming out time and time and time again, and they're not going to. So it's like shoveling sand into the tide. So somebody's really got to get serious about listening to him and not paying him lip service, but really trying to get inside his head and understand what he's been through. And I'd really appreciate it if you could do that. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Alan Kratz.
Good evening. My name is Alan Kratz, and I'm delighted to be back here. I worked for New Jersey Transit for 15 years, from 2000 to 2015, and it's great to be back among the people I enjoyed working with in real estate and economic development. Since leaving the company, I've moved ahead on 2 different careers. One of them is saving historic buildings. The other one is helping communities find funding to build infrastructure to protect them from flood risk and sea level rise and extreme weather events. And tonight, I'd like to talk about an opportunity that we have, New Jersey Transit has in Hoboken, my hometown for the past 42 years, and to talk about an opportunity for raising revenue and advancing both of those statewide public policies. Before I get to that, I'd like to show you 4 different photographs, and I've actually provided these to Beverly, and I think you'll have them electronically. One of my accountabilities in real estate and economic development was to sell excess property. And this was a real fun one. This was Benson Street Station. It had been made obsolete in 2002 with the opening of the Montclair Connection. And there had been a fire in the 1990s or maybe even earlier. And for many years, this wood frame structure built in 1883 was protected with tarps, a succession of tarps to keep out the rain and water. And we had to sell this to a ready, willing, and able buyer who would also commit to restoring this building to historic standards that the state had established. And we did, and they did. And by 2013, Benson Street Station, a historic station on the National Register, looked like this. The buyers converted this into a residence, and it's back on the tax rolls in Glen Ridge. The other vexing issue that we had in real estate for a while was figuring out what to do in an economically prudent way with the immigrant station in Hoboken. Here's some more blue tarp. And this was a building that had been vacant or underused for many years. In 2012, Sandy gave it a power wash and also a new rationale for new use. And as you know, you've taken action to convert the second floor of this building, to preserve this building, and to raise the electric substation above flood level. So these are both very good examples of how New Jersey Transit, how we worked in New Jersey Transit and how the work continues in New Jersey Transit to really respect and put to good economic use historic structures that you have. And I really want to applaud the investment that NJ Transit has made in restoring and upgrading and putting to new use the historic architecture, historic engineering of the properties that you inherited, or that we as a state inherited 40 years ago. And in my view, the stations that have been restored, the many historic stations, really go a long way to creating a positive customer experience for those of us, like me, who ride transit every day. Now to Hoboken. Each weekday, 30,000 people pass by the Records Building, this sort of whimsical sandcastle-like building, or maybe it's a medieval fort. Very interesting building, designed by the architect who designed many other historic stations that have been restored. And this is an opportunity, I believe, for New Jersey Transit, for those of us who are in the private sector, who are citizens and who are working here, to really find a creative use for this building. It might well be put to the same use as the immigrant station. When I taught a course in historic preservation at Drew University, one of my students did a pro forma to figure out what an economic beneficial use would be for this building. Not only did my student satisfy the course requirements, he went to a developer in Hoboken. His pro forma penciled out. The developer came and approached real estate in an effort to lease out the property and create a profit-making enterprise. The city of Hoboken is very well adept at figuring out ways of using funding from one source to make it optimize other funding sources that come in and really have a synergistic way of increasing funding. So what I'd really like to see is that we work together, finding a way to bring our energy, our expertise, our enthusiasm, our experience to figure out an alternative to the record building other than the demolition of the building. And I think that that's a very positive thing. It really would speak very well to the legacy that New Jersey Transit has had as an entity that really does try to relieve the taxpayer subsidy, that makes good use of its assets, that is very positive about the historic preservation, really works with communities to find something that's a community benefit. So I think working together, and I'm willing, again, I'm here as a private citizen, I'm very willing to work with any of you to help create an opportunity so that we all together can both advance historic preservation and climate adaptation. Let's give our past a future, and let's give our future a future. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, we have a group of 10 speakers on behalf of Russell Grotti. The first and last speaker will have 5 minutes to comment, and all other speakers will have 2 minutes to comment. The first speaker is Errol Kerr.
Good evening, Madam Chair. My name is Errol Carr. And I just want to also add my voice to say thank you to the men and women who have served our country, and some of them have paid the ultimate price. For those of you who are here today, we just want to say thank you for your service to this country. Madam President and members of the board, good evening. I want to say again, thank you for the opportunity extended to us that we can come in your presence here and address our issues Today, as has always been for the last 2 years, our issue is the injustice that has been dealt to Mr. Russell Grotti. As you have been aware, we are very consistent in our presence in your meeting. We are here in good weather, and we are here in bad weather. We are here when the venues of your meeting is even shifting. It speaks to our consistency and our commitment to justice for Mr. Grotti. It should be evident from us coming here that as a community, we carry a very strong feeling of love and appreciation for Mr. Grotti. But our presence here is not just only our love and respect for Mr. Grotti, but our undying commitment to justice. We believe that justice was not done, and we are driven here every month because we are committed to this process. Justice for Mr. Grotti. It was Dr. Martin Luther King who said that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. This is a refrain you hear from us from month to month at this podium. The fact is, this board has the means whereby it can dispense justice. You have the right to dispense justice. But the right that you have to dispense justice is just but for a time. If you defer until tomorrow, you might not be in the positions that you are in today to dispense that justice. How would you like to be in a position, or any member of your family, in a position where injustice is dealt to them the way in which it was dealt out to Mr. Grotti? A man who was in a business, a thriving business, making money, securing the future for his family. A New Jersey Transit, and this was not by mistake. It was not a mistake. It was a calculated decision by New Jersey Transit to come in and interrupt his progress, upended his business, and put him on the street. Whose name was that done in? It certainly was not in the name of justice. I applaud New Jersey Transit for making minor steps toward restoration. But let me say this. The offer that is presently placed on the table for Mr. Grotti is woefully inadequate. The offer totally ignores the suffering, his pain, the loss of the possible financial gains he could have made, and locked him in a position today where he's suffering. I'm appealing to New Jersey Transit. I need you, or we need you, to reconsider the offer. Take into consideration what this gentleman has gone through. You cannot make him whole, but you certainly can do something to alleviate some of the pain that he now suffers. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. The next speaker is Donna Ivy. Donna Ivy, this next speaker. Is Donna here? The next speaker is Winnie Harrison.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Winifred Harrison. In reference to Mr. Russell Grady, coming here out of respect for him as a great man of intelligence and integrity and all that he has been through with New Jersey Transit. And I'm listening to the other young man, and it seems like he's about to go through the same thing. And we will come. But we believe in God that it shall be resolved. We understand that it was an offer, but that's between y'all and Mr. Grady. But we just want a resolution to the problem that's at hand. And as far as generations going, we know y'all not the first board that's been sitting here, but we praying that y'all would be the last board, and this would be our last time coming, because it's so hurtful for him to keep constantly coming down here and constantly bringing people that love him and taking time off for what other things that they have to do because of the injustice that he has been given. We understand that this is a process, but I don't believe anything should be going on for 2 to 4 to 14 years of a process. And from the beginning, since 2002, he's been going through this and losing out every time we come here. And since this has been going on, he's been losing out, and that's unfair to him and unfair to New Jersey Transit, because New Jersey Transit has what he needs and has what he's asking for. And he's not asking for anything astronomical. He's just asking for something that he feels that he deserves. And once he be relaxed in his business that he has now, we all could just go to his business, eat, and enjoy. So I'm just asking on behalf of Mr. Russell Grady, please, just respect what he's asking for and let be a resolution. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Casey Melvin.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Casey Melvin, and as many of us, we're here in support of Mr. Russell Grady. For those of you who don't know, like I'm a young businessman, and Mr. Grady is somewhat of an icon or a mentor of mine. I've only been in business for half the time, a fraction of the time that he's been in business. 25 years. I have a small barbershop in town, and when I heard the story about his ordeal with New Jersey Transit, based on conversation with my clients, you know, I've always held New Jersey Transit to a high standard. Individuals that I've serviced throughout the years, drove buses and worked in the garages, had, if not nothing fair to say, something always good to say. And those stories were kind of challenged when I heard Mr. G's story about the disenfranchisement that he's experienced and the deprivation of economic opportunity done by New Jersey Transit. I'm quite sure that we have an intelligent board in front of us, and if you guys have reviewed the case, I do believe that we both can agree that there is some level of unfairness in the case towards him. Even so, it's confirmed by the small-time settlement that was offered to him. I think it would do all of us a favor, generations present and generations to come, for us to know that New Jersey Transit maintained their positive reputation that they have, at least amongst the people I know in our city. You guys, I've read an article about you doing some investment, a light rail investment that's going to be in our city, and it's going to pass through several locations, a multi-million-dollar investment in our city. And it would be sad, at least on my heart and those amongst us, to know that not far from where Mr. G's restaurant is, your light rail will make a stop. So for us to know that transit did him a disservice, it puts a sour taste in our minds. And our hearts. So whatever you can do to help resolve this case is appreciated on behalf of myself and others that I represent in regards to my organization. It would be appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Princess Reeves. The next.
Good evening. I'd like to take the time out to honor our veterans that are before us. With the many parents, I am a parent, a mother of a military daughter, which still serves this United States. And she is a staff sergeant, United States Army. So I'd like to commend those that's here before us as being a veteran of the United States of America. At this time, I would like to say that Mr. Grady has come several times over and over again. We have been here a little bit more than 2 and some past years that we have contributed our time, we have contributed our voices, we have contributed our concerns on an icon that is part of our city. And we'd like to know at this time, you know, there should be a better resolution. We should be closer to the resolution. Mr. Grady has done everything that was humanly asked of him as to remove his items, repair, put in additional money into his project of his restaurant, of a business that he has numerous amount of years, which he still have a business within the city of Paterson, New Jersey. So, and as we come before you guys, I mean, sometimes we come, we state what we need to say. Some of us, we're very humble, but then some of us, we're very, to the point where it's very in a strong concerns that we need to know exactly at this time, where are we at making a resolution to Mr. Grady, because he is overly deserving of being awarded of everything that he has asked. He's done everything. You have gone over numerous amount of time of the litigation, and we should be at a time of resolution. So I would like to say an ending for everyone to have a happy Thanksgiving in advance, but at the same time, please utilize that time, and please give justice to Mr. G.
Thank you. The next speaker is Vivian Matthews.
Good evening. My name is Vivian Matthews. I'm here representing the National Council of Negro Women of Passaic County, and I'm here in support of Mr. G. And we've been coming here, like everyone has said, we've been coming here for quite a while, and we think it's time to resolve this situation. And like I've said before, Mr. G has done everything that he was asked to do, and I think now it's time for you to do what we asked you to do. Our organization is an organization that advocates for men and women of African descent, and we're standing behind Mr. G, because whenever we ask him to do something for our organization, he is available. And so now we're available to help him get whatever he knows that he deserves. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Kay Banks.
Good evening. Good evening. To the board, I'd like to greet you. I am Dr. Kay Banks, the president of the Passaic County African American Women, and I have a few of my constituents here with us. If they would like to stand, fine. We are here in support of Mr. Grady. We salute him for a man of valor. We salute him for his integrity. For many years, he has been committed to the community. He has been committed personally, and he has been committed as an organization. And one thing I would like to bring, and I will bring to the attention, is his persistence. He is persistent, he is steadfast, he's committed, and he's taken a stand. He's taken a stand for justice. He's taken a stand to know that what is due him, this is what he would like to have. And we're here this evening in support of him. We have come down many, many times, and longevity has its place. But right now, we're not concerned about longevity. We're concerned about justice, because he's here for justice. He's here for what is rightfully due to him. And we're standing with him. And I would like to leave with you, and perhaps you can think about this. I'm reminded of a woman. She was in her 90s. She and her husband had worked for many years. They had a restaurant. They worked. They raised their children. And they owned homes. And what had happened? The husband died. And this particular woman, she became very ill. She wound up in a nursing home, in a facility. And when her daughter came to see her, what she said to her daughter as she looked around in that room, and she said, I can't believe for the many years that I have struggled, I have toiled, and everything has been taken from me. And all that I have left in this world is this blanket that I'm holding on to right now. Let that not be Mr. Grady.
Thank you. The next speaker is Jamie Bland.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jamie Bland, and I'm a chapter leader under the National Action Network, Passaic County and Bergen County, under Reverend Al Sharpton. I'm here on behalf of the concern that we have with Mr. Russell Grady, who is an A-list businessman in Passaic County. He is also a father. He's a man that has reached out to the community numerous times, giving out grants, support, and uplifting the community at the same time. He is one of the pillars in our community. He's a historian in our community. He's a leader and somebody that we all consider a human being. Well, this human being actually has been embarrassed, the family embarrassed, humiliated. This man has paid 2 years straight for a building that he was not occupying. So we do understand that moving forward, that you all have made a decision. Now, what I am asking, as far as the decision that you made, is to make Mr. Grady whole again. This man had to borrow everything but rob and steal, like you did. And I'm not saying individual, the people that were here, but you know the story. But Mr. Grady has got on his knees to keep his name, his pride, and his dignity as a man. And this man deserves justice. And we are not going to stop until he is made whole again. No justice? No peace. No justice? No peace. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Zatiti Moody.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Zatiti Moody. I'm the Vice President of the Brothers Organization of Patterson. And I'm here in full support of Mr. Russell Grady, affectionately known to us as Mr. G. Mr. G has been a mentor to many of the residents of Patterson and the community of Patterson as a whole. As a young man, I was also always told a story of the individuals who brought the late, great Dr. Martin Luther King to Patterson. And if I'm not mistaken, his last stop, his last official speech was in Patterson. And one of the individuals who brought the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King to Patterson was Mr. Russell Grady. As a young man, I always wanted to meet Mr. Grady. I met Mr. Grady as we worked together as a board at the NAACP. We were both some of the official members then. And Mr. Grady went through some times then, and our organization came out to support Mr. Grady. And I learned that he was a man of humility, but a man of purpose, great purpose. He takes on problems in the community that most folks would say is not his problem. I've seen people come into the restaurant, and he feeds this one gentleman in the restaurant every single day. He doesn't charge him a dime. I would beg to say that what Mr. Grady is asking for, he probably spent in bus passes, train passes, getting young people to work. And I know Mr. Grady is not trying to get rich off this process. Look at Mr. Grady. He's a man who's aging gracefully. He's older. He's an older man. He's not trying to get rich off this process. I would beg to say that what he would do with this money is employ more residents in the city of Patterson. I know the time has run out, and I'll close up with this. I implore you guys, as members of the board and chair, I know the chair is on the phone, we have the ability to make Mr. Grady whole. He is humble. He came to us. He's here with the community. All we're asking you guys to take another look at this thing, and please, please, let's be fair and give justice to Mr. Grady. As Ms. Jamie Bland said, without any justice, there is no peace. We come in peace. Peace is the absence of chaos and confusion. We don't need chaos and confusion. All we ask for is justice. Please adhere to these pleas. We thank you for listening to us.
Thank you. The next speaker is Mr. Grady.
Good afternoon, board. My name is Russell Grady. I'm sure most of you know that. Because for 2.5 years, almost 3 years, we've been coming before this board. And what you have done is turn this whole process to us into a joke. We've become a joke to you. I don't think you have looked at this seriously. Because when the speakers come up to speak, they speak from their heart. I don't tell them what to say. They come humble, like they're begging that you do the right thing with this issue. I'm with that, but more than that, I'm starting to wonder if you guys really know what this case is all about and what really happened.
That's right.
I don't stand before you on my knees and begging. You guys got to go back and understand what happened. If you don't know what happened, you need to have a meeting with me so we could sit down and discuss and you could ask questions. This is a powerful board. The people who represent you, the attorneys, is powerful. State organization. You take the legal system in the courts and make jokes out of it. You take it to do your dirty work. New Jersey Transit never wanted an African American to be in the bus station.
Keep it real.
Go back and look at the records. Twice before 2004, we were in court. made settlements. Why were you in court? You were there because you just did not want an African American to operate a business on your property. I heard others thanking the soldiers that have served this country. I served this country honorably. I was in Korea. Hats off to all people who have served this country. This is a great country. But I'm sorry to say there's some people in this country that is not right. Look at the record. I spent $1.5 million. Put it into your properties. Put it into your properties. Based on your promise to me that I could serve there for 20 years. You didn't want me there. Go back and look at the records. Sometime the honorable chair lady said, well, we wasn't there, we don't know what happened. But there's a record. The record would say that I paid my rent every month, paid my in-debt service to economic development, state of New Jersey, ran a fantastic restaurant, thinking that I had 20 years to retrieve my investment. You decided that you wanted to move the bus station again. And you said to me, we're going to move you next door. We are going to bear the expense for moving you next door. We need you to pack up your stuff. We're going to replace it. You need 90 to 120 days to do that. In the minute that I packed my stuff up, you moved it out and put it in storage. You said, the hell with that. We're not going to put you back in there. We're not going to put you back in at all. Forced me to go into court, spend a lot of money on professionals, sent me emails. Now listen to this. You sent me a bill every month to pay my rent because I had a lease. 2004, you took my keys.
Mr. Grotti, with all due respect, could you please sum up?
Please, I've been coming down here for 2 years, almost 3 years.
I understand, sir. We have two
I
additional
know you
speakers.
understand, but you don't understand what you're doing to me.
You have Donna's time. She wants to speak.
I'm telling you, somebody else's time I'm going to have. I'm not going to sit down till I'm finished. I'm not going to sit down till I'm finished. Because what has happened to me here is unfair.
Mr. Grotti.
I did what I was supposed to do for your folk, and we're not going to keep coming down here
Mr. Grotti.
month
Mr. Grotti.
after
Mr.
month
Grotti.
after month.
Mr. Grotti.
Mr. Grotti, the chair would
Mr.
like to
Grotti.
address you, please.
Please. We understand. You come to us every month. Believe me when I tell you, we understand your situation. I have told you that. But it is hard for you to hear, but this board has, and this agency, more appropriately, has no legal obligation to have these discussions with you. We are trying to be reasonable. But you have asked for more than I can even justify in my own mind. And so we have gone back and looked at your record. And we have gone back and looked at the court's record. And it does not matter what you think of the court or what I think of the court. It is the record of the court that is in the state of New Jersey, and that is what we abide by. So if we want to continue these discussions, when you are ready to come to the table and understand where we are, this is 15 years old. We cannot just, you think we can, but we cannot. We don't just hand out money, and we have no intention of. But we will have a reasonable discussion with you about a reasonable settlement to your concerns. There is no open claims. It's very important that you understand that. There is no open legal matter. It concluded a very long time ago. And I know you don't want to hear it, and I don't like having to be the one to say it to you, but I am responsible as the chair of that board. We have a meeting to be held. There is business to be done. We give speakers all the same amount of time. Your group always gets 5 minutes in front, 5 minutes in back, however you want it, and 2 minutes for everyone else. And I understand you don't want to sit down until you're done, but unfortunately, that is what has to happen. We're happy to entertain a reasonable discussion with you, but that is on you when you are ready to do that with us.
Madam Chair, thank you very much for your comments. But let me say this. You're making a joke out of what you offered, and I can understand you want to go back to the courts, and I've made a statement that you use the courts to do your dirty work. And if anybody in this room think that the courts is always fair to black folk, I'll tell you again, I could sell you the Brooklyn Bridge. You used it to do your dirty work. You're powerful. I've stated once before, I'm going to respect you and I'm going to sit down. But what I'm asking you to do, let's get into some serious negotiations. And it haven't been negotiation, it's been dictation. You dictate what I must take, and I'm not going to just take it. If I don't get a dime, because this is bigger than I am. We're human beings. We got to be respected as human beings. We have our children that has to look up to us. And when we're going to sit around and let you just take us, railroad us out of our business, and then you tell me, oh, the courts done said the hell with that, folk. I'm going to take this to some place. Maybe it's time for a boycott, a bus boycott in the state of New Jersey. And if you don't come to the table and be fair with me, that's what you're going to get.
No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace.
The next speaker we have is Robert Sidney Madison.
Come down here, they ain't seen nothing yet. I'm not gonna accept it. You're not gonna raise me on my business and cost me millions of dollars and they come and dictate me with a couple of dollars. It ain't gonna happen. I'll die for it happen.
No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace.
Thank you.
Mr. Madison, you may begin.
Thank you. I expect you both, you all know about the 2-degree target for dealing with climate change. Is that right? That's a political number set by the IPCC. The scientific answer is we should keep it as low as possible. And the reason for that is because as temperature goes up by 1/10 of a degree, the damage goes up by greater than that. So every time it goes up a little bit, temperature goes up a little bit, damages go up a greater amount. We've already seen examples of this. This year, the best example was in Bermuda, where a storm set over one of the islands for 24 hours and destroyed it. Last year, we had another example in Houston where they got 51 inches of rain in 24 hours. And recently, we had a report, very recently, we had a report that these storms will get worse. There's another target that's been set, which is called zero emissions by 2050. And while that is a good target, it does not take into account cumulative emissions. Cumulative emissions are more important than the target. You cannot make the target without dealing with cumulative emissions. And I will submit a copy of this to the board, but you can see the red line, where the red line does not bring down emissions quick enough, and the green line does bring them down and respects the need to keep total emissions down. So the point is that as a nation, we have contributed and are still contributing more to greenhouse gas emissions than other countries per capita. We have the means, and developing countries have the means to deal with this. Underdeveloped or developing countries do not have the capital to deal with this. And even worse than those reasons are that we have a large amount of what are called stranded assets on our future, which will make the recession, the Great Recession of 2008, look like kids' play. So all of these reasons mean that business as usual, and it's not our job, it's not my job, man, need to be changed mindsets. We have to start dealing very seriously about changing the role of fossil fuels in our economy. At a minimum, it means that we should not be adding any fossil fuel plants or pipelines. And that's what I would ask you to make sure that happens by policy, by decree, by asking the governor, by whatever means possible. I'll provide my chart to the secretary along with my notes.
Thank you. The last speaker is David Peter Allen.
Well, I'm not used to following Mr. G in the order, but tonight I couldn't have been here earlier. I was at the Senate committee hearing in Hoboken, making a statement there. Why they scheduled that hearing opposite this meeting, I don't know, and I did ask. But you know me, David Peter Allen, chair of the Lackawanna Coalition, and I speak tonight on behalf of the United Advocates for Your Riders at the Coalition and at the New Jersey Association of Railroad Passengers, NJARP, whose president, Len Resto, has assured me that they are on board with what I say tonight. We note that the Raritan Valley line has gotten most of its former one-seat ride service to New York Penn Station back, and we are happy for the riders there, but there has been no improvement on the Morris-and-Essex, Gladstone, Montclair-Booton, Maine-Bergen, or Pascack Valley lines. The riders on these lines have suffered more with trains removed from the schedule and with cancellations that have degraded our rail service to an unprecedented level of uncertainty. Yet, we have not even been told when we will get any of our trains back and have not received a legally enforceable assurance that we ever will. This situation remains totally unacceptable for our constituents along these lines. While we suffer, you continue to hand out millions of dollars for a parking deck, a North Brunswick station that would benefit really only a single developer, and other projects that do not improve mobility on the lines that you operate today and where we have seen nothing but cuts and deterioration for the last 4 years. There is even an item that would give WSP, one of the nation's highest priced firms, more than $8 million for something called enterprise asset management, a concept that your materials do not even explain. The Advocates for Your Riders hereby call for New Jersey Transit to give a total moratorium on all capital spending that does not directly provide mobility for your riders until every train removed from the schedule on every line since September 2015 is restored and every line runs as reliably as it did 5 years ago. We commend NJ Transit for avoiding the temptation to run rail service to the so-called American Dream Complex, which some of our members call the American Nightmare. Shuttle buses make sense, and the developer should pay for this service, not the transit riders or the taxpayers of New Jersey generally. New Jersey Transit does not have the equipment, the employees, or the money to run trains to that complex, and we commend you for being aware of that. We do note that you persist in calling a manager named Stuart Mader a, quote, customer advocate, unquote, and we continue to voice the strongest possible objections to that title. It is an out-and-out lie, a falsehood specifically promulgated to cause public confusion and bring into question the credibility and authenticity of the efforts by the genuine customer advocates, including those at the Lackawanna Coalition at NJ HARP, who have been serving the interests of your riders for more than 40 years. We would not object to a truthful title for Mr. Mader, but we must insist that New Jersey Transit immediately cease and desist from claiming that he, as a management employee, is an advocate for your riders. We are the advocates for your riders. He is not, and you know that. Management's credibility is bad enough at this time. It does not improve when you keep lying to the public about who advocates for your riders. We've heard a lot about Senator Loretta Weinberg's committee that will purportedly look into NJ Transit's recent poor performance. I have just told that committee, and I will tell you, one of the reasons why it is so poor. Not a single person on the NJ Transit Board has ever depended on transit for all mobility, as far as we know. I campaigned relentlessly at the legislature to persuade them to require that at least one person on the board depend on transit, because no motorist can ever know the suffering that our poorly performing transit can cause for those of us who depend on it. I got absolutely nowhere, and that includes with Senator Weinberg. At a meeting of this board, I once asked her how I could apply to be a rider representative on this board. Her answer was, and I quote, talk to the governor. So I have a message for Governor Murphy, and I know that some of you in this room can deliver it for me. Please tell the governor that you know where to find me, and I can put him in touch, and you can put him in touch with me, so I and my fellow genuine customer advocates can tell him what things are really like at New Jersey Transit. We just want him to hear the rider's side of the story, which he can't get elsewhere.
Thank you. Chair Gutierrez-Gacchetti, there are no further speakers.
Thanks. Suzanne Mack, are you present today?
Yes, I am.
Yes.
Thank you, Suzanne. Would you present the advisory committee report, please?
Yes, I'm coming to the dais, Commissioner. Thank you so much. Good evening, and it is nice to be here. I was very pleased. I have been here periodically, but I was very pleased that my vice chair, who you met last month, Ron Monaco, was able to come to give the report. As you know, he is an avid rider on the Raritan Valley line, and also has been chair of HART for many years, and brings a real perspective to the organization and to our committee. So I was very pleased that he was able to be here, as I was also when Tim O'Reilly represented us in July. I was here in the September meeting. But the committee, as you know, is small, but it does have the interest of different modes among us. We all have I'm a light rail advocate, as you probably know, and Kathy Edmond represents Ocean County, and it does a lot on the paratransit side of the aisle. So we feel that at least I'm very happy. I'm an inclusive person. I like to have my committee come and meet you. I believe that seeing you and being part of this process and seeing how the meetings are run and how they develop with the executive committee and with you board members is really very valuable to all of us. So yes, Commissioner, I'm very happy that I can be here tonight and join you in your effort. I also want to say we've all mentioned that we just had Veterans Day, and we want to thank all of our veterans all over the world serving, that in past and future they do a tremendous job, and we have many employees here, probably on the dais, and also certainly within the ranks that have given service to our country, and all of our employees. And I see on the agenda tonight that you have labor agreements, and you have agreements with the police officers, and these are organizations within our employees that continue to give service to the people of New Jersey, so we thank them all. I wanted to just mention the committee meeting. We normally don't meet in November. We are looking very forward to meeting in December for our joint meeting. However, we felt that there was so much activity within the organization that we chose to come in November, and I wanted to thank the executive director for, I think you changed your name, I think you're the president now, or something. But I wanted to thank Kevin for attending the meeting. I know he was very busy that day doing the innovation work around the state, and we were very pleased that he was able to come. And just as he did discuss the activities of the board and the fact that you have new classes of bus drivers and new rail operators, and the American Dream went off without a hitch. I think everybody's pleased with that. But also, I think one of the prime reasons I was so pleased with this month's meeting is that people, the organization is interactive. So about 3 months ago, we were at a board meeting where there was a great cry for more innovation on sustainability and where we were going in the future. And although we talk about a lot of issues when we come to the board meeting, the fact that when somebody brings it up, there was a press conference down in the lobby on the need for New Jersey Transit to react to the sustainability issues. And then our committee this month had a very, very in-depth report by Steve Jenks, who is the manager of energy and sustainability programs. And the thing that came out of that was not only that the transit grid, which was discussed here tonight, the electric bus program, the solar program, but really the impact New Jersey Transit is having on the reduction of greenhouse gases. And I would say that the one thing I would say about it was perhaps we don't do a good enough job of highlighting what is going on in the organization. That is really, this was a very, they didn't just show up at our committee meeting. This is work that's been going on in the organization, and I know with the board's support, you are pushing this agenda forward. So it was a very good meeting. We appreciated that. We also had an update on the dual mode locomotive program, which our vice chair had requested, and we discussed the 17 additional diesel locomotives that will be coming online both in late December 20 and early 21. Very important for us because we don't know how these vehicles will be assigned right now, but we do know that there's a need for more capital equipment throughout the system. And we also had for us, it was the first time that we did meet with the Chief Customer Experience Officer. That there was a discussion of Stuart Mader at earlier meetings, but this was the first time we actually sat down and actually talked about what his role is. And I think our committee was pleased to know, again, that within the strategic plan activities and within the board, and with the support of the commissioner and the board, that you're calling attention to this issue, to actually hire someone to come and actually have their day-to-day work be to work as a liaison within the organization to enhance customer service and customer experience. To us, seems like a very good thing, and it was a very enlightening meeting. We had not met him before, and so we appreciate the controversy over the name of the title. I'm not a human resource person, but I do look and I can respect when you see that people are actually going out, joining with the customers in the field, and actually coming back and tweaking or highlighting activities that can enhance service for the customers. So that was that one. I also just wanted to say that this was a very interesting meeting. Again, I thought we had some really good thoughts come out with the people that actually came tonight to discuss their needs. And I just want to say, if somebody wants to give you more money for rent for your transit activities, might want to take a look at accepting his offer to pay more rent. I don't want to be glib about it. I know these are very serious issues, but I also think that for a gentleman to say that he read something about New Jersey Transit yesterday and decided to come to the board meeting to discuss his concerns I think it says that you're a transparent group and that people think that they will be listened to. And one of my all-time favorite, one of my associates, Steve Thorpe, was here tonight to talk about light rail service in South Jersey. I hope that his concerns will be looked into and addressed, and I look forward to seeing some of you at our joint meeting in Trenton next month. And thank you, Commissioner.
You're very welcome. Brian Wilson, will you present the Operations and Customer Service Committee report?
Thank you, Commissioner. The Operations and Customer Service Committee received an update on trends, analysis, and actions for rail, bus, light rail, and access link. The committee also received an update on social media activities and the cost of service. That concludes the report for Operations and Customer Service Committee.
Thank you. Dean Yajmani, would you present the Administration Committee report?
Sure, Chairwoman. The Administration Committee received a financial update. This included an update on ridership and revenue, cost of service key performance indicators, major balance sheet items, attrition and hires, and real estate and economic development highlights. The committee also received updates from Human Resources and Equal Opportunity and Affirmative Action. That concludes my report.
Thank you. I will present the Capital Planning Policy and Privatization report. The Capital Planning Policy and Privatization Committee discussed the Walter Rand Transportation Center deck repair project, construction contract award, Enterprise Asset Management Program Management Office, audited financial statements for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2019, memorandum of understanding with Middlesex County Improvement Authority for the North Brunswick train station, proposed CDA Local 304 labor agreement, and proposed CWA labor agreement. That concludes my report. Kevin, would you present the action items at this time?
Absolutely. Thank you, Diane. I'd like to introduce Eric DeLeo, Senior Vice President, Capital Programs, present board item 1911-69 regarding deck repair project at Walter Rand.
Thank you, President Corbett. We are recommending approval of item 1911-69, Walter Rand Transportation Center deck repair project construction contract award. The Walter Rand Transportation Center parking deck repair contract will include enhancements to improve capacity, reliability, and functionality of the existing parking deck. Authorization is requested to enter into NJ Transit contract number IFB 19-057X with Watts Restoration Company Incorporated of Feasterville, Pennsylvania, for providing construction services for the Walter Rand Transportation Center parking deck project in an amount not to exceed $2,747,949 plus 10% for contingencies, subject to the availability of funds. Authorization of this construction contract will allow for the demolition and repair of concrete cracks and the removal and installation of new electrical lighting. The parking deck repairs will keep the facility in a safe and secure condition until the future new redesign is constructed. We ask your approval of item 1911-69.
May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Second. Next discussion. Roll call, please.
Roll call vote. Chair Gutierrez-Cacchetti?
Yes.
Board Member Wilton? Board Member Ajmani?
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, I'd now ask Eric to present 1911-70 regarding Enterprise Asset Management Program.
We are recommending approval of item 1911-70, Enterprise Asset Management Program Management Office. Authorization here is requested to enter into New Jersey Transit contract number 19-061 with WSP USA of New York, New York for Program Management Office support services at a cost not to exceed $8,201,815.71 plus 5% for contingencies, subject to the availability of funds. The Enterprise Asset Management Program will allow NJ Transit to focus on the development and implementation of consistent programmatic business processes and enhanced prioritization of both operating and capital funding to support more efficient and effective investment in the most critical asset needs. As cited in the North Highland Company's assessment of New Jersey Transit, authorization of this contract will allow for a qualified vendor to serve as an enterprise asset management office to support NJ Transit in refining policy and concept of operations, performing gap analyses and design roadmaps so that each operating mode can implement their own enterprise asset management processes consistently across New Jersey Transit. We ask your approval of item 1911-70.
May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
May I have a second? Is there be discussion? Joyce, if you would take roll call?
Roll call vote. Chair Gutierrez Scacchetti?
Yes.
Board Member Wilton? Board Member Rajmani? Motion carried.
Great. I'd now ask Bill Vaquera, SVP and Chief Financial Officer and Treasurer, to present item 1911-71 for the audited financial statements for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2019. Bill?
Thank you. We are recommending approval of item 1911-71, recommendation to approve the audited financial statements for the fiscal year ended June 30, 2019. In compliance with Executive Order 37, Corzine 2006, authorization is requested for the Board of Directors to accept and approve New Jersey Transit's audited financial statements for the fiscal year ended June 30, 2019. We ask for your approval of item 1911-71.
May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Is there a second? Any discussion? Joyce, please take roll call.
Roll call vote. Chair Gutierrez Scacchetti?
Yes.
Board Member Wilton? Board Member Rajmani? Motion carried.
I'd now like Eric to call Eric back up to present item 1911-72, memorandum of understanding with Middlesex County regarding North Brunswick train station.
We are recommending approval of item 1911-72, memorandum of understanding with Middlesex County Improvement Authority for the North Brunswick train station. Authorization here is requested to enter into a memorandum of understanding between and among New Jersey Transit and the Middlesex County Improvement Authority, by which NJ Transit will fund a not-to-exceed amount of $50 million for the design and construction of the North Brunswick train station. Authorization is also requested to enter into funding agreements for each project phase prior to the commencement of that phase for a total amount not to exceed $50 million, subject to the availability of funds. We ask for your approval of item 1911-72.
Do I have a motion?
Moved.
Second.
Eric, I have one question on this. When you say transit will allocate the funds, those funds were legislatively set aside at an earlier time, is that correct?
That is correct, Chair. They
Thank
were
you.
appropriated in fiscal year 2017.
Joyce, if you would take roll call?
Roll call vote. Chair Gutierrez Scacchetti?
Yes.
Board Member Wilton? Board Member Rajmani? Motion carried.
Thank you. I'd now like to introduce Chris Trusillo, Senior Vice President and Chief of Police and Office of Emergency Management, present item 1911-73 regarding proposed labor contracts. Chief?
Board, we are recommending approval of item 1911-73, the proposed labor agreement with the Police Benevolent Association, PBA Local Number 304. Authorization is requested to enter into a contract with the Police Benevolent Association, PBA, for the term of July 1, 2018 until June 30th, 2022. Subject to the availability of funds. Approve the economic terms and other proposed conditions contained in each memorandum of understanding and take all necessary steps to finalize and implement same as discussed in executive session. We ask for your approval of item 1911-73.
May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
May I have a second? Any discussion? All in favor? Or Joyce, I'm sorry, roll call?
Roll call vote. Chair Gutierrez Scacchetti?
Yes.
Board Member Wilton? Board Member Rajmani? Motion carried.
And I'd now like the Chief to continue with our last item for the night, item 1911-74 regarding a labor agreement with CWA. Chief?
Board, we are recommending approval of item 1911-74, proposed labor agreements with the Communication Workers of America, CWA, local number 1032. Authorization is requested to enter into a contract with the Communication Workers of America, CWA, for the term of July 1, 2015 until June 30th, 2023, subject to the availability of funds. Approve the economic terms and other proposed conditions contained in each memorandum of understanding, and take all necessary steps to finalize and implement same as discussed in executive session. We ask for your approval of item 1911-74.
May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
May I have a second? Any discussion? Joyce, please take roll call.
Roll call vote. Chair Gutierrez Cacchetti?
Yes.
Board Member Wilton? Board Member Ajmani? Yes. Motion carried.
Thank you, Joyce. If there is no further business, may I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Meeting is adjourned. Good night, everyone.
Good night, Diane. Thank you.
Thank you.
So you used to wait second.